Hey, what's up everybody? It's just Charles and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things. And now we see them in today. We have an interesting episode for you guys you definitely want to stick around for. So make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, since Kevin Durant made it public that he wanted to be traded from the Brooklyn Nets, it seems like that has been the only thing that people in sports media have been talking about since the NBA Finals. Almost everyone seems to have given their opinion since that bombshell news initially dropped. And since that news broke, all of us have been trying to understand what exactly made Kevin Durant decide that he wanted out of Brooklyn. A lot of us were caught off guard initially when that story broke. We did a live, like maybe 15 minutes after that story broke. And I can remember all of our viewers, or a good amount of our viewers in the comment section, they were like, no way, I can't believe it. Like people were genuinely were really surprised to hear that Kevin Durant wanted to leave Brooklyn, especially after Kyrie Irving decided that he was going to opt into his final year of his deal with the team, with the Brooklyn Nets. Well, now it seems as if Charles Barkley himself is finally deciding to weigh in on what he believes drove Kevin Durant to make the decision of wanting to leave the Brooklyn Nets. On a recent episode on the Dan Patrick Show, he sat there to talk about the Live Golf tournament, but he also started off that interview talking about the fallout, or the alleged fallout between Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving with the Brooklyn Nets. But before we get into that, this video is brought to you by our sponsor, Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the T-Wolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So let's just get into what Charles Barkley had to say here on the Dan Patrick Show, and then we're going to come back and react to what he had to say. Take a listen to that.
Your thoughts on the possibility that the Celtics and Nets could complete a trade that KD would go to Boston in exchange for Jaylen Brown and a few players and some draft picks?
Well, it depends on what they're giving up. I mean, KD, I think everybody wants KD. We can be sure of that. But it just depends on what you have to give up. I mean, if you're just giving up Jaylen Brown and some draft picks, you do that deal right away. But like I say, they got to want more than that, or they don't know what the hell they're doing in Brooklyn.
What if you just say to KD, we're not trading you? Like, you got a contract.
They should have did that already, because that team, they're in the conversation the way they structured. Because Kyrie's got to play well next year to get a new contract. We don't know what Ben's going to do, but when Ben was healthy, he was a heck of a player. I like the offseason additions. I would tell, hey, KD, we're not trading you. We might have the best team in the Eastern Conference. Then he's going to have to say, I don't want to play with Kyrie.
Yeah.
Because it's really ironic, the day after Kyrie bought in, that's the day he released, I want to be traded. So that would actually bring a lot of things into the light. If he says, hey, you guys trade Kyrie, I'm back in. So I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but it sounds like he just had enough of Kyrie. That's my honest opinion.
And how ironic would this be if KD would go to Boston and those players who played with Kyrie in Boston would then be shipped to Brooklyn to have to play with Kyrie?
Yeah, man, it would be like, listen, whatever team KD go to going to be a contender. Can they win it? We don't know that. It depends on what you're giving up. But if I'm any team in the league, I'm like, if I got a chance to get Kevin Durant, I might go for that.
So you heard what Charles had to say there. Now, it's worth saying, for balance sake, that there's some reports out there that have suggested that Kevin Durant actually wanted the Nets to give Kyrie Irving a long-term extension. And in fact, he got upset once the Nets decided that they were not going to give Kyrie Irving that extension, and he decided that he wanted out, right? So there's some reports that have said that. Now, it hasn't been confirmed, but there have been some reports that have said that. But for now, I want us to stick to what Charles Barkley is saying here. I think that there could be a possibility of what he said in terms of KD getting tired of Kyrie Irving being true. I think that I think that's plausible, right? I think that's plausible, but I also think that KD could also have said to himself, listen, I think he could probably have realized that, listen, this duo, this pairing between himself and Kyrie Irving just simply wasn't good enough, right? Especially after the Brooklyn Nets got swept in the first round against the Boston Celtics. Remember, going into that series, most people gave the Brooklyn Nets a decent shot to beat the Boston Celtics. Now, I picked Boston to win that series, but some people felt like the Brooklyn Nets were going to win that series for good reason. You still have Kevin freaking Durant, who many consider to be the best player in the world, and you have Kyrie Irving, who is one of the most talented basketball players in the world and one of the most efficient one-on-one scorers in the NBA. He has been a part of the 50-40-90 club. So going into that series, I don't think anyone, including Kevin Durant, would have predicted that the Brooklyn Nets would have gotten swept in the first round. And I think KD probably looked at that situation. This could be one possibility. KD probably looked at that situation and said to himself, wait a minute, although we didn't have Ben Simmons, but we were still on the floor. I was still on the floor with Kyrie Irving, right? We're still there. And you mean to tell me we couldn't even get one game off of that team? And then that same team went on to the next round where they faced the Milwaukee Bucks. And think about this. The Milwaukee Bucks took that same Boston Celtics team 7 games without a healthy Chris Middleton. So if you're Kevin Durant and you're sitting back and you're looking at the landscape of the Eastern Conference, you can't possibly be saying to yourself, okay, well, this thing is going to work next year, because you just saw that a team that had less help in their second all-star, in this case in Chris Middleton, they were able to take that team 7 games. The Brooklyn Nets weren't even able to get one single win against the Boston Celtics, and the Boston Celtics have gotten better in the offseason, right? So maybe KD looked at that and he looked at his chances in the Eastern Conference and said to himself, I don't see how we're going to be able to topple some of the top the upper echelon teams in the Eastern Conference. That could be one possibility, but I do believe that the thing of Kyrie, the knock on Kyrie of him not sacrificing for his teammates, I think that's a real thing. And I think it could have seriously played a role in Kevin Durant deciding that he wanted to leave Brooklyn. And the reason I'm saying this is because of some of the things that former NFL players and former NBA players had to say about Kyrie Irving deciding not to get vaccinated. I've heard, players like Shannon Sharp said, if that was one of my teammates in the locker room, where everyone is bought in, everyone is sacrificing, and this one guy in the locker room doesn't want to do that, it's definitely not going to sit well with me in the locker room and some of our guys. I've heard Shaq and others say that just wouldn't fly, right? So, and I definitely believe that was one of, in fact, I predicted that was one of the reasons why James Harden decided that he wanted out of there. I mean, James Harden even made a joke about it. Right, he was like, if I have to tie Kyrie down and then give it to him myself, I'll do it. I think James Harden decided that listen, this guy is not willing to go as far as we are, to win. So I'm out of here. Now, James Harden is, he isn't a sympathy figure given the fact that he's quitting a lot of places that he's been. But you understand that the point that I'm trying to make. So the question then becomes, what do you think about what Charles Barkley had to say? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we'll definitely catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.